discussing about the topic called as SIPA in ZPA, right? So basically, what is SIPA? SIPA is nothing, it is just source IP anchoring, right? So this one is the anchor your source IP, right? So let me discuss deep dive on that, right? And guys, you must watch that video till end, because in the end I will tell you how can uh, configure. Okay, so thank you guys. Let me start it. Okay, so what is SIPA? Okay, first you need to understand what is SIPA and why it used, right? So once you understand this concept, so it will be easy for you to understand, right, how and why it will use in Zscaler ZPA, right? So let me come on our board, okay, and let me tell you what is the SIPA and why this is important, right? So guys, I will tell you very simple explanation of SIPA, okay? Suppose you are working one of the MNC which have business in all over globe, like you may be working on one of the manufacturer, right? You are working on one of manufacturing company, and that company have a business in all over globe, right? Globe means it include, well, guys, okay. It include the business in China location. It will include business in Russia location. It will include business in US, UK, and every country, right? So now what SIPA, in case of SIPA, how it will help you out in your company to get the connectivity access, right? So you guys know that China is using their great firewall, right? So what this firewall does, okay? So any traffic should be passed, maybe their government websites or any sensitive data should be need to whitelist on the Great China firewall, right? So what Zscaler does, Zscaler actually is the proxy, right? So what that means is, it means that when you are hitting, okay, when you are hitting, suppose google.com, or just example of website like www.test.cn, okay, test.cn, cn is the Chinese domain, right? So what will be happen when your traffic going to the test.cn, it will not hold your actual IP address. Okay, the reason behind that is why it not hold your actual IP address, because of this laptop is connected with the proxy, right? And proxy always change your public IP, replace with their IP address, and then talk to destination. Okay, so in that case, when I'm trying to access test.cn website from my laptop, it will be blocked by Great Firewall. Okay, the reason behind that is because the request is coming from which is the proxy, the public IP, right? Which is the Zscaler public IP, right? Okay, somehow because you are already business in China, which is legitimate use case, right? So then you can talk to Chinese government, and maybe you can ask Chinese government to whitelist your public IP. Let me show you. Suppose what is my public IP, right? So let me see. Suppose I'm the customer and I want to check what is my public IP. Okay, you see this is my public IP, right? So now I will tell Chinese that this is my public IP. You need to whitelist this on your Great Firewall so that I can access. Okay. So if website is the public, I can access without Zscaler via this direct my internet, right? But when I connected with the Zscaler, okay, and I'm trying to access that website, then it will guard the proxy IP. Okay, so you guys know that when traffic coming from Zscaler, it will add its IP address like 167.x.x.x, something like that, right? So my request when going to the destination, this will hold this public IP. So it means that the firewall blocked that IP. So even I have a legitimate use case, but still I cannot access that public that website because of restriction on Chinese government. So you have a two option in that case. One option, you need to disable the Zscaler and accept that website, which is of course not good because you cannot bypass your security, right? The second use case, you do something on the Zscaler so that it makes sure that when you are hitting on test.cn on that particular website, it will hold always your public IP, not go Zscaler public IP 167 or whatever IP, right? So because of that, SIPA is very important to make sure that when you are hitting on the public or any website, it will hold your actual IP address, not a Zscaler public IP. Okay. So, there's a lot of example, not only China, right? You a lot of GST websites, in India. India also not allow any random IP are coming from, right? So you need to whitelist those IPs. So in that case, suppose you whitelisted your public IP, not your Zscaler public IP, because Zscaler use a random port, a random pool of public IP, right? So you need to whitelist and then make sure that whenever user hitting on GST website, okay, that should hold your public IP, right? Then you can ask a cross question. Okay, so Ram, what I need to do, I can given that proxy IP address, whatever proxy I'm getting, okay, on my laptop. I will check what is my IP and even whatever the Zscaler assign IP. I can ask that whitelisting great firewall team that whitelists my public IP, and they will whitelist it. After that, it will work. Okay, that's a good one we can do, but the problem is, your user is not only in India, right? Your user all over the globe, right? And the public IP they are assigning random from pool, right? So you cannot. One second, guys. I think my okay. Okay. So you cannot allow thousand of IP. Even no one can allow whitelisted, right? Even that Chinese firewall team also not whitelisted, because then if you are allow everything, then what makes sense of firewall, right? So cannot allow everything. Okay. In that case, guys, okay, you got the requirement why you need a SIPA, right? So Zscaler come with the one solution called a SIPA, which is full form of SIPA is, guys, source IP anchoring. Okay. So it's anchor the IP. It means it will maintain the same IP which you want to go to the destination. Okay, so let me connect my laptop with the Zscaler. Okay, then I will show you right now, guys. Could you note down my public IP? Okay, you see 223.226.157.249. Okay, and after connecting with the Zscaler, then I will tell you what is my public IP. Let me connect with Zscaler. Okay, that, and it will give the exact location where I connected, right? So guys, meanwhile, I'm just telling you one interesting part. So the question maybe interviewer asks, or you also need to curious that how is this color connected with the nearest data center, right? So this color always hold the whatever public IP hold by your ISP. It will identify that public IP geolocation from MaxMind database, and whatever location it's showing in maxmind, based on that it will identify the nearest data center. Okay, so the answer of that question very simply, Zscaler using maxmind database based on your public IP, whatever geolocation showing into your public IP, it will identify the nearest data center, right? So for my case, if suppose I just copy that and go into maxmind.com, right? So if I put my IP address, you can see it automatically detected my public IP and showing it's Lucknow, right? So based on my public IP, you can get it, right? Okay. So now let me run again because I connected with Zscaler. So okay, you see guys, I connected with Delhi data center, right? So this is good, right? Because my location is near to Lucknow, so the nearest data center from my location should be always Delhi, right? Not as Chennai, not a Mumbai, right? Of course, Delhi near to me. So that's why it's connected with Delhi location. Now, guys, I will tell you the interesting part. What I was explaining that. So once you connected with the Zscaler client connector, and I will just refresh the connection, and you will see that the my public IP should be changed, right? So just I refresh that, and it's checking my public IP. Okay, so you see immediately my public IP changed, right? So suppose if I'm now we will see if I'm trying to access test.cn Chinese website, so it should be blocked, right? The reason behind that is because I given the whitelisting IP, which is my 224 IP address, okay, not this one. So that's the reason SIPA is important, okay. Hope this at least from now is clear, okay. So I have a good document for you guys, so you can go through that, right? Why SIPA is important, right? Mini SaaS application, portal, banking, external system only, allow access from known pre-approved corporate public IP, as I mentioned that, right? So then only you can get it that and allow that those things, right? So you see it's a good PDF. I will attach in the description so that you can download, right? So you see source IP anchoring, how it work, what is the architecture. Suppose you are working from home or working from office anywhere, okay. So when you are hitting on Chinese website, what it will be do, it will first go to your data center, because you are whitelisting your egress IP address of your company IP address, right? So then it will go to the your data center first. It will hold your public IP, then go to the nearest Zscaler zone. Then it will go to the ZPA transport. After that, it will identify the nearest step connector, and then it will go to the firewall. And after that, it will go to the SaaS application. Firewall is this on-premises firewall. Is it not a Zscaler firewall, right? So let me go with one example. So I think okay, this PDF is really good. I want you can go through that, okay, so that you can get it the with very good clarity, right? So first you need to understand, guys, how many things you require to configure SIPA, right? So let me tell you, there is three, four steps are only. This is not difficult, right? So first step is, what is the first step, guys? So the first step to configure SIPA is you need to create app segment. And the important part, guys, when you are configuring SIPA, that's very important part, because most probably we are using SIPA to on the public URL, right? Like Chinese.cn or any other website, right? I will take example in my case, ipchicken.com. Chicken.com. This is actually website, okay. This website is the internet website. Even you can access on your laptop as well this website, ipchicken.com. Let me tell you, ipchicken.com, okay. This is the internet URL. Just you can open in your laptop as well, ipchicken.com. So I want any user hitting on ipchicken.com, the request should be landed on I think I need to check the configuration that landed on the company data center. After that, it will go to the internet. And why I take it ipchicken.com? Because there is a reason. ipchicken.com will tell you your source IP. So actually, what is my public IP is this one, right? Even after connecting with Zscaler, this is my public IP address. But you will see I'm getting this public IP address. The actual public IP address is this one when my request be hitting on ipchicken.com, because I anchor that request and hold this public IP address of my data center, right? So well, let me break down because I don't want you can confuse that. So SIPA basically used to make sure that the original IP address of your company should be same when it will talk to destination, whether it's Chinese website, whether anywhere, SaaS application, anything. Anything there is restriction that you cannot come in with the random public IP, so you can do the SIPA. Okay, that's clear. Second thing, most of the common use in SIPA you can use on public IPs, right? Public URLs like GST website, like any US FBI sites. A lot of reason. I'm just telling you example. I'm not sure how they are operating, but Just relevant, given the relevant example so that you understand what is that, right? So let me go to the configuration, and first part I mentioned, guys, you need to configure first app segment, right? And after app segment you need to create a forwarding policy, right? So let me tell you how you can configure SIPA. So even before that, let me show you the logs, right? When I'm going to the ipchicken.com, what my service is. Ideally, I connected with Delhi data center, right? But let me tell you, when I connected with the ipchicken.com, okay, so hold on, let me tell you that voice X69. Okay, guys, whenever you are, I will maybe later make one video on the troubleshooting, how you can troubleshoot ZPA issues. Okay, so when you are putting URL of destination URL, you need to put app domain, right? You will see application domain. Then instead of equal, never use equal. I'm not recommended that use the equal. Otherwise, if you are using equal equal keyword, then the input should be matched, otherwise you haven't see any data, right? So always use the contains means whatever the parameter is matched with that. So let me put IP chicken.com. I think this is correct. Okay, you see, let me put both because we configure this in app segment, that's why it's coming here. Okay, so you see my username is here, right? What is my username? IPTCB35-OT at the rate the zero trust exchange.com, right? So if you go here and you put my username as well, okay, is it my logs only? You see, guys, this is my logs only, right? So let me tell you on which data center I am going, right? Okay, so I hold this public IP, right? This is Zscaler public IP. My request is going by Delhi. Okay, that's correct. Okay, now, okay, this is my the nearest services where I connected. The interesting part, guys, you see that when I'm hitting that request, it is going by Zurich. The reason behind that is I forcefully configure. I forcefully configure that when user hitting on ipchicken.com, the request should be go always via Zurich. Any user hitting, not only me. This should be never possible if you're not configuring, right? Because this will decide based on the user location, which app connector should be selected. Okay, so you see anyone hitting on that, it will always land it on Zurich app connector. So that's the interesting part, right? You need to understand why it's hitting the Zurich, right? So let me go with the app segment and I will tell you. So app segment, guys, how you can get it there? Let me tell you step by step because I don't want you can miss any configuration. So you can go under policy. Under policy, you will see just highlighting one more point, guys. Zscaler now everything moving to their old portal to this experience portal. Okay, this is the new portal which include everything on that: ZPA, ZIA, ZDX, everything. Okay. So let me tell you, Zscaler private application, then you see that define application. This is the app segment where you need to define your application, right? Now let me tell you the part which we are looking is that this Zurich URL, right? Or this whatever that ipchicken.com. Let me see where it configure. So I need to put name because I can put filter on name. So filter you get everywhere. So let me put name and I will put source IP, something like that. Okay. You see source IP anchoring. Okay. Source IP anchoring. What is that full form? Let me show you. Source IP anchoring with Zurich, through Zurich, right? This is the name, right? So let me edit that and see. So I was telling you the first step when you are configuring SIPA, you need to add your URL under the app segment, right? So we added that URL under F segment. Let me see that URL. So port 80443 is okay, right? Now let me show you the URL. I think I need to see. There is a URL. 1 second. Okay, so TCP port is there. Okay, yeah. So you see these both URL are added here, right? So actually, guys, this is the internet URL. You no need to add anywhere, right? If you are normally accessing that, you can access. Is it not like that your internal application you are trying to access from remote? No, no, it's not like that. It is just an internet application. You can access from your mobile or laptop. ipchicken.com. It will give you your public IP where your source is coming, right? But I want see the example based. So why I pick up ipchicken.com? The reason behind that is because when you are hitting on ipchicken, it will give you the actual source where your request is coming, right? So that's why I pick ipchicken.com. So ideally, when without SIPA, my request should be not hold this IP. Even I connected with the Zscaler, but this is my public IP, right? Request should be go by that. But because of anchoring, this is my public IP. Maybe this whitelist on ipchicken.com you treat it like that, and that's why I'm redirecting that request on that, right? Now, okay, so that's first thing you need to you need to add your like URL on app segment and whatever port that requires 443 or 80, which is common for internet, right? You can add both port, right? Second part, very important part, okay? So if I click on next, don't forget to click on this source IP anchoring. Any URL, if you are adding into F segment, this source IP anchoring should be enabled on that. Otherwise, it should not anchor, right? So the second part, you need to enable source IP anchoring. Guys, note down first step. You need to add that URL under F segment. Then you can enable source IP, okay? The rest of part we'll discuss later how to configure that. But for now, we are focused on SIPA part. So that's why. So keep it as it is, everything. You can add your server group if you created. We are created at Zscaler Manage Zurich. I will tell you what is server group. Server group is basically you can bind your app connectors, right? So server group, when you are every app connector should be part of app connector group, right? So when you are creating app connector group and multiple app connector group, you can bind with server group. I will tell you that later, okay? And a segment group, if you want, that's not recommended, you leave it as it is. If you want, you can add, right? So segment group is we are adding this, okay? Because this we have if we have a multiple app segment, then you can create one common segment group, so that when you are creating the policy, it is easy to call. Segment group is just like object group in firewall, right? You no need to every time call multiple things. Instead of, you can bundle, create one group and bundle everything on same, and you can call into policy, right? So that's one part. Second part, what you need to do, guys. So let me tell you, go to the this ZPA, okay? Under ZPA, if I click on, I think it should be, okay, let me search here. This is new portal, guys. I'm also, struggling sometime. It take time to hands on because previous portal was simple, So you can practice on that, right? And get it the more hands on. So now you can click on forwarding control, right? This forwarding control, see, ideally what you are doing actually, guys, ipchicken.com is the internet URL, right? But forcefully you are sending that URL via ZPA because you configured that ipchicken.com under app segment, right? Ideally it's the internet URL. Now once it reached to the proper data center, like app connector, after that it will hold your public IP, then talking to destination. So ideally, it will go to the internet, not from your laptop to your company data center. After your company data center, it will go to the internet. So if it's going to the internet, then you need a rule on the ZIA as well. So under forwarding control, you need to create one rule. You see, we have a rule already for this in Zurich location, right? You see, where is our rule? SIPA anchoring app, okay. ZPA for SIPA Tokyo, Chicago, okay, this one. ZPA for Zurich dedicated IP. It means that we are make sure that the whenever ipchicken.com user trying to hit, it will go always via Zurich, right? So then you can create one rule, okay, and you simply define that. You no need to do nothing. Just when you are creating that, you can call the same app segment. Okay, which app segment you created on you created just now. I told you first part, right? You can call that app segment, and then you can call that gateway as well. Source IP anchoring for Zurich. Okay, this gateway you already built. You can call this as well. Okay. So now what you need to do, you can forward. See what you are telling when user traffic going through ZPA, but ideally it's internet URL, so it will go via ZIA, and then it will identify what gateway I need to go to next, right? So it's showing that source IP anchoring for Zurich go via that gateway, because this is for ZPA gateway. Okay. So it make three part is completed. One, you need to create app segment, enable that source IP anchoring under app segment. Then now you can go on the GIA part, where you can add that into forwarding profile, right? Forwarding control policy, that so that you make sure that you assign correct forwarding gateway, right? So that your traffic leaving by Zurich only. Okay. Now just one more thing. Let me, okay, because you need to define server group and all, right? So let me go to a app connector, right? Under infrastructure, let me search directly app connector, right? So let me see the app connector. Okay, this one. We have already created group, right? We can go under app connector groups. So see, you need to also define which app connector you want to use a landed, right? So after those app connector, it will hold the company or Zurich IP and then talking to destination. So first thing, from user laptop, you can select which app connector your request is landed, right? Your means user request, right? So let me see anything here like Zurich SIPA for Zurich. It's very huge app connector group. Let me okay, not this one. Okay, this one. You see, Zscaler managed Zurich. So there's two app connector is part of this group. So you need to create app connector of those, or if you are already, you need to add those app connector here, right? You see, this is the one app connector. This is part of app connector group, because it's a mandatory that every app connector should be a part of app connector group, right? So there's a two app connector in Zurich where your request is landed, user working from anywhere. Because I'm idly Lucknow, right? So my request should be landed nearest app connector of application. But unfortunately, what happened? Even that request not going to ZPA, because that is the internet request, right? Because of SIPA, we configure and redirect that request to the Zurich. Then what will be happen? First, I hit it ipchicken.com. What will be happen? It will go via ZPA. It identify the nearest whatever app connector be selected like Zurich, it will land it on Zurich. After Zurich, then it will treat it as an internet traffic. From there, it will hold the public IP. Then it will go via that, in ZIA we define the gateway. After that, it will go to that gateway, right? So you need to define the app connector. And you guys see the server group as well. Server group is not mandatory, but if you want, you can add server group. Let me tell you. The server group also should be like this one, Zurich, right? So this app connector group is part of server group. So you don't confuse that, right? App connector is the one device which install in on-premises network. This is the kind of OBA which you need to install on VMware. Then you see that app segment. App segment basically whatever URL you need to whitelist, you will do whitelisting on there, right? After that, you see segment group. Segment group, suppose you have a HR application, right? 5 HR application like HR dot test.com, timesheet.test.com, portal.test.com. So you bundle those all app segment into one and call segment group. Why? Suppose you are creating a policy, ideally you need to create 3 policy, or you can call all segment into the policy every time. So if you have 3, that's fine. Suppose you have 100 of app segment, how can manage every time you need to create a separate policy or add every time. So instead of, you can create one segment group and call that name as a HR application and call all the app segment into that. So within the single call, once you're creating in the policy, you call apps, HR application and all app segment calling into that, right? So same like app connector group, based on the location, you can bundle multiple app connector, right, into app connector group. Then make sure that the term should be same. There should be something common to make the group, right? Same for application server group. Server group is the part of multiple app connector group, right? That's called a server group. Right now we bundle only one. Okay, so this is all about that. Now let me see, is there any access policy is there for that, because you need to allow that traffic as well, right? Okay, so you should be see somewhere allow service, allow. Okay, let me see the logs. By the way, what traffic my, what rule is passing my traffic, because you cannot of course define policy. ZPA is not like you can assign thousands of policies. No, ZPA you can limit it the policies, right? Limit the policy. So let me pick this one or this one, both. Let me pick both. Let me refresh that. Now you see guys, the policy I'm getting is source IP anchoring access. Okay, let me click on that policy. Okay, you see we created policy source IP anchoring. Then we can define the allow access. Of course, we need to allow. Then we can define that Zurich as well. Zurich should be there. You see, Zurich segment is there because you need to call. You remember that I told you, right? You can call here app segment or segment group directly, right? Suppose you have 100 of application, you cannot call one by one all segment. Instead of, you can call segment group all HR application, right? And the traffic client type should be ZIA. Any request coming as an internet should be go through that road, right? So this is the policy, guys. So I think let me recap and then we can conclude that, because we are good to complete that, right? So first one is you need to create app segment. Okay, then you need to create enable under app segment source IP anchoring. My writing is bad, so please bear with me. Then you need to create a app connector. If you already created, to keep it, add those app connector into app connector group. Then you need to create forwarding control, forwarding policy control. After that, what you need to do, you can what you need to create a policy. Policy should be allowed, right? And yeah, after that you configure. This is very easy step, guys, but people are struggling because they haven't visibility of that. So guys, that's what I think we are good to go. So I already show you that. Just guys noted one thing, you need note this IP 170.85.46.4. Okay. This is the IP. Let me show the public IP of Zurich, right? So if you see, okay, let me copy this IP and paste it here only. So I want to see what is the location of this public IP. So you see this IP going by Zurich, right? You see that Zurich. So ideally, my request going by my public IP address. If my public I connected with Zscaler, then go by Zscaler public IP address, not Zurich. Because why it's going by Zurich? Because of it is using the SIPA, source IP anchoring. So let me disable the Zscaler and then I will show you what is my actual IP address, and even I can access without enabling the Zscaler, right? So let me disable the Zscaler. I'm not this is not production, this is the development kind of profile, so that's why I disable Zscaler. Otherwise you require the password to disable that. So let me refresh that to see whether okay, you see I'm not right now, I'm not on Zscaler, I haven't connected. So let me refresh that. See, this is like for me now internet. You see my actual IP address was that. So now when I access ipchicken.com, it will hold this IP, right? So let me refresh that as well so that you see what is my public IP. My public IP. Okay, you see this is Bharti Airtel and all, and this is my public IP. So this is all about, guys, about. So guys, thanks for watching this video. Hope this will informative for you. It will make some value in your career. Keep subscribers, follow more for more videos. So we are trying to give a more video on that, Zscaler, Prisma and all. Okay. So thank you guys.